Hello, fabulous Leo. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of January 2016, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here, and a very big happy new year to everybody out there. This month, it looks like, especially the early part of the month, there are a lot of logistical things to get down, especially where it comes to matters of work and the workplace. As we move towards the later part of the month, the energy is going to change dramatically as part of an even bigger change taking place next month. I'll talk a lot more about that in the love-focused horoscope, but for now, let's talk about what's happening in the first 3 weeks of this month. And that is a focus on the work that you are doing, the habits that you are holding, and how it is that you are spending your days. Are they empowering you or not? If you are somebody who has your own business, this is going to be a time when clients are going to be plentiful, very possibly. New clients will appear. These can be people who are, representing and paying more than you are used to. But this also can be people who in some way are particularly demanding, particularly needing more, wanting more, as the case may be, or dealing with some issues that are pretty intense depending on the type of work that you do. This energy, if you work within an organization, very strongly likely to play out in an organization. So there's a new moon happening in the early part of the month. This new moon does suggest that changes are going to take place in the workplace, particularly with coworkers and even possibly sort of immediate supervisors. People may leave, people may come into the picture, and people may actually return. That is the most likely. And it does look like there is a little bit of drama actually playing out in the workplace as well. Now, you don't have to participate in it. You can choose not to participate in it. But just know that that energy seems to be there. That possibility seems to be especially strong, that people are going to, as things are shaking up in the workplace, that might add an element of uncertainty for you, sure. But also, if we just separate you from the equation for a moment, it's almost like, I think for a small percentage of you, there are going to be other people in the workplace who are sort of like playing out their own dramas. And you don't have to participate. You always have that choice. But they're going through their own stuff. They're deciding what's right, what's wrong, with whom and where, and are dealing with that whole energy. And maybe in their own lives going through some stuff that they're bringing into the workplace. So it might not necessarily feel like the healthiest place to be, if I'm really being straightforward with you, which I always strive to be. It may not be necessarily the healthiest place or feel like the healthiest place, and yet there is a very strong possibility and the very real likelihood that as a result of your interactions, your understandings, as you're moving forward, and especially if you are mindful of your own stuff to do, then their own stuff, like their stuff, will like sort of handle itself, right? If they're meant to leave, they will. If that energy is meant to dissipate, it will. But all of this, it doesn't seem to leave you unaffected. In fact, this is going to be a time when things are likely to be changing in the workplace. But also, this is going to be a time when some truths are going to start to become clear. Some underlying motivations are going to start to become clear as well. And I see this, yes, I say drama, but also it's almost as if I'm seeing people maneuver, or I'm seeing people like bring stuff that has nothing to do with the work into the workplace, right? Like they're dealing with their own emotional issues. But the experiences you have in the workplace now are going to be consequential for you for a very long time to come. In fact, I do think it is those workplace experiences now and your experiences with clients now that will determine some of the more purposeful changes you start to make as we move towards the end of the month. In fact, I am seeing you towards the end of the month saying to yourself, okay, I want to move towards greater stability. I want to move towards something that feels constant, that feels stable, that feels secure, that feels strong within me. And that can help you make some very powerful changes that have far-reaching consequences. So with this particular new moon at the beginning of the month, also, as I said, there's a health implication that comes up with this. And the health ultimately has to do with how well are you taking care of yourself, especially in those small moments on a daily basis, and especially where it comes to the habits that you hold. If you are, if you have one of those crutches, if you have a habit that really is not good for you, or that your lifestyle in some way is not supporting the best of health, this is when the consequences are going to become very evident. This is when the consequences are going to just sort of rise to the surface. And this is where you're going to see where changes have to be made if you are going to start to feel better. Now, the great thing is that you do make those changes, okay? So that's very exciting to me, and that's very encouraging to me. You do make those changes, you do get clear on who you are and what you want, and especially the longevity that you desire to experience. Saturn is involved with this full moon in your sign, and it's very likely that you'll be letting go of some unhealthy habit or practice as part of getting healthier. I will also say this: if you feel that you are a person who desires to lose weight, if you are in that place, then this can be a really good time to start a program that moves you in that direction. But it may or may not be about weight, but this is about release, right? With full moons are good to focus on where it comes to, like, new moons are new beginnings, right? So you make a new moon wish, you think about what you want more of in your life, where you want to begin again. But where it comes to a full moons are good for thinking about what you want less of. So if you want less weight, and not just physically, yes, but also it could be metaphorical. It could be a life that feels lighter, less pressured. If you want to release a relationship, let go of the past in some way, all of these, right? Or, let go of a certain circumstance. If you have like some expense that keeps coming in, if your car keeps having problems, this can be a really good full moon to set the intention to release the need for that expense so that you are able to be in your prosperity and feel strong in the prosperity that you have. So all of these become implications as part of, in particular, this full moon taking place in the later part of the month. I also wanted to say this, particularly with the new moon that is happening. Because of the, the whole dramatic stuff and everything that's happening, I mean, this could really be like seeing through the illusions, if you will, right? Really seeing where you are, really seeing who your coworkers are, really seeing the dynamics playing out. And this can represent a real turning point moment for you. So if you are in a professional relationship with somebody who really is not nice, right? This can be one of those turning points that makes you realize what kind of life you actually want to have, the kind of life you actually desire, but more importantly, what you deserve and what you don't, which can lead to some very powerful changes. So as part of a loving universe, some very strong emotions likely to come up. And a big part of this is going to show you what works for you, what doesn't, what's acceptable for you, what's not, what you have to let go of if you are going to truly be you and become stronger and have a sense of stability inside and out. That is part of the larger lessons and how all of this is fitting together this month. It may seem very mundane at first. It might seem that it's about the work. It's about, you know, whether I'm getting to the gym enough or whatever the case may be. But as you move towards the later part of the month, you'll come to understand that it really is about you. It's about what you believe about yourself to be true. It's about self-care, not just in a physical sense, but an emotional sense as well. And it also becomes about getting in touch with what you really want and who you really are, and making decisions from that place. With that clarity, self-knowledge, the clarity of who you are, the decisions you make from there will be ones that create stability and success with the real potential to last, to grow, and be truly impressive for a very long time to come.